Alrighty, it is time for some Octopode Conjurer of Ashenzari. Hopefully, if I play well enough and fast enough, we could actually get this entire game done, even though I do plan on doing 15 runes. We should be able to just kind of fly through the extended ones. Should be alright. Although I'm going to try to, of course, explain everything that I'm doing and the choices that I'm making, because this is intended to be used in a tutorial. By the way, I'm training charms. I think I didn't mention this last time. I'm training charms past what I ordinarily would, because I want to use up the manual, which will get an item out of my inventory. I could just drop it, but the extra charms training is actually not terrible, because deflect missiles, there's less of a chance for it to drop when you have a higher spell power. Unfortunately, training charms is less useful than it used to be because they took regen out of the game. So charms is kind of a sad little borderline useless school now, except in a few narrow situations. So this may very well be a mistake in the trunk version of the game, but I'll live with it. Anyway, pretty happy with what we've got going on here. I'm tempted to untrain stealth since we really shouldn't need it, but I'm not going to. I think I've abused Ashenzari's skill transfer as much as I really need to. Pretty happy with how my skills are right now, to be honest. Anyhow, last time we finished Vaults 1. We will just keep going through Vaults. Pretty much turning into a dragon and tabbing through anything that's not particularly challenging, This guy cannot paralyze me, so I'm not worried. I'll just melee him. Oh, right, we have the utterly broken Val Clutch spell now, so I can... Wow, did I just miscast? At 1%? Yeah, I did. So we can just do this for guaranteed damage, it's nice. But really, I can just fight this stuff and win. While Dragon Form is fragile, it's not so fragile that I can't kill an orc, or rather an ogre pack with it. I do, of course, wish that I had Staff Form, but this is fine. I'm gonna back off. I'm gonna enjoy the new Bolt Val Clutch, which is better in a lot of ways than the old Targeter. Hey, Kilmatronics, what's up, my friend? Glad to see you in a stream. You were talking about not being able to make it to them. Well, here you are. Why did I mark the stream 18+? I mark all of my streams 18+ because I curse sometimes, and it's just the safe route. Twitch is run by blue-haired crazy people to some degree who will ban you over the slightest transgression or no transgression at all. And so, you can get banned on Twitch for holding the wrong political opinion, so I tend to do things as carefully as possible, so that if they do end up banning me over something stupid, I can feel like I'm in the right and I did not actually break their terms of service, Not that that's saved some people in the past. Obviously, I'm not sitting here taking my shirt off or anything, but, it's just the nature of how Twitch is, These big companies that think that they need to act as the sort of arbiters of what's acceptable to say in public and what's not, sort of the content cops. Fairly dystopian if you think about it, but nothing I can do about it other than work within that system. Anyway, check out what we did here. So I'm a big boy dragon, right? Dragons are really good at fighting one-on-one, so I saw a huge pack of things, so I left and I went into this tile right here, knowing that they would only have this area, this little hallway to walk through, and they would be standing here. And while it's possible for them to walk forward and kind of try to surround me, I'm killing them too quickly for that to happen, typically. So it's a great position to fight. Floating eyes are a problem. My breath can't reach him. I want to kill him instantly. I'll just Val Clutch him. He'll die. They can paralyze you if they see you for more than one turn, so doesn't matter what your MR is, they'll just do it. So you really have to treat floating eyes as a big deal. Hey, Wesley, how you doing, buddy? I would rather be a big boy statue, but we haven't had such luck. Gilmatronic says he does not do vaults on octopodes. That it's too hard on an octopode. You'll have bigger problems than many characters, I would say, in Vaults 5. That's definitely a thing. Mainly because you have less hit points and less defenses. I'm not too worried. Ooh, a little bit of lag. Hope that doesn't continue. That would make streaming extended very, very obnoxious. But, hey, let's kill this ice dragon as quickly as possible because we don't have RC while we're in dragon form. There we go. I could have swapped on RC, but that's okay. I killed the sorcerer next because he had a Nekazek zombie, or a Nekazek demon rather, which could have mutated me if I gave him a chance. Hello, Strider. Welcome to the coronavirus stream. Gotta take those ice dragons seriously. They can do, I think, 75 damage to me with their breath if I don't have cold resist. I don't actually have the ability to give myself cold resist, come to think of it, unless I just leave dragon form. Whoops. I guess I could probably go grab a, that other ring of pro cold. No, I do not actually have the coronavirus. I haven't left my house in several days. Just playing it safe, you know. Nice guaranteed attacks. Virtually guaranteed anyway with BBC up. Just gonna title your next stream coronavirus. Well, that sounds they'll ban you. They'll ban you for inaccurate stream titles. All right, check it out. We're on Vaults 3, which means you'll generally find the crypt here, and there it is. We're not going to go in there yet, but we might. We might do that while I'm planning on switching to TSO because that's just kind of what you do in Trunk because of the removal of regen. If we were to get Necromutation online, we wouldn't have to do that. So I'll just think about it, basically. You know, we'll see. Cosplaying by infesting people as a mummy necromancer. Ah, I see. Fair enough. But yeah, I mean, typically I will save Crypt for Piety for my swap to TSO if I'm going to do 15 runes. This character... You know, we could just stick with Ashenzari, weirdly enough. Because Necromutation is available, it wouldn't be too bad of a headache, I suppose. Like, a Necronomicon did in fact spawn. We just have to purchase it. Which we could afford it right now, we have a ton of money. We had a botched acquirement where we had to get money, so I think that gave me a good 800 or so more. Obviously, I'd rather purchase statue form, but it's not available. As far as I know. Statue, nope. But Necromute, there it is. Necronomicon, 1656. Ashenzari is the curse-themed god, yep. We found what I would say is the most powerful god, Gozag, in the early game. Gotta be careful of these sphinxes, by the way. My MR is not quite enough in dragon form to avoid getting paralyzed by them. It's 1% chance because it melds my hat, which is giving me MR. Anyway, we found Gozag, and I only had one ration. And the thing about that is that if you're in the early game, if you only have one ration or no rations at all, you really don't want to take. You don't want to take Gozag yet because he turns all your enemies into gold, all their corpses, and so you don't have meat anymore. And yes, you can buy a ration shop, but you need 800 gold to do that. So you could actually starve yourself if you do it early enough, if you find an early enough Gozag altar. So I didn't take that, and then the very next floor I found Ashenzari. And Ashenzari is much better than she used to be because of the fact that Explore Traps can be incredibly deadly, especially in the early game. And so as soon as you take Ashenzari, you are straight up immune to Explore Traps. You are provided with a bounty of information. It's really dumb, honestly, that this tooltip says not a goddamn thing about that. But whatever. I'll take it, you know. It is a benefit, a hidden one, but it is a benefit. And being shafted or teleported is basically, or marked, is basically the only way that you're going to kill one of my characters, as long as I don't make a mistake, of course, in the early game. In the early game after about D2 or D3. Anyway, statue form is now available in the Book of the Earth. So, let's purchase the Book of the Earth. Some other stuff is available. Irradiate is available. I really like Irradiate. We found two of my favorite spells, and they fit really well on this character, so we'll buy both books that have that stuff. It does look like my Octopode is set now. One problem, there's no Amnesia available. I don't have any in my inventory. I don't have any anywhere else. Not even for sale. We have a bunch of junk spells we have memorized, such as Fulminant Prism, which we no longer need. We have Searing Ray, which we no longer need. We have Petrify, which is still okay, but we're probably never going to use it again. Did not die of hunger entire 5-year DCSS career. Junk spells like Lightning Spire and Vow Clutch. No, we're keeping those. Anyway, we're gonna... By the way, I'm training charms up one step at a time because I don't know when this manual is going to be done. Anyway, we're gonna turn on spellcasting and take it to at least 15, gain some spell levels so we can go stat form and really show off how good that is. My D-Missile went off. We put it back on. Look how busted this is. They say it's a nerf, but look at me hitting so many guys at the same time. Pretty much in all the situations where you'd want to hit a bunch of guys, it's almost always just as good, sometimes better. Used to be a 3x3 targeter, and now it's this thing. Really, really busted. Yesterday I read the smug post about where Dev was talking about how Vow Clutch is not broken. And talked about why that was wrong. And you can pretty much see it for yourself, the fact that it hits so many guys, it hits in such a wide area, it does stuff over time, so it's, you know, easy on your mana. Has the disadvantage of forcing you to fight in a hallway. Oh no! Yeah, I mean, almost every character really wants to be in a hallway at all times anyway, so, you know. Alright. And it's funny because even on floors that try to force you to fight in the open, like, let's say spider floors where sometimes they're just wide open, as long as you have a Wand of Digging, you can force a situation where it's good to use, and I did that last session. Really want to know what they consider busted, honestly. What criteria are they using? It's just whatever. It's whatever pops into their heads at any given time. They'll sort of point to the Crawl philosophy document and say, oh, well, we're following this, but they contradict it so very often that I would respect them a lot more if they simply said, well, we're doing what we feel like doing. Like, that to me would be more respectable because it would be honest. We'll get strength because we want to do more damage in dragon form. Did I already train shields? You could stick with dragon form at this point. I did train shields, but even if I didn't, these guys can do a lot of damage. Some of that is potentially cold damage. Crystal Bolt can hit with fire or ice randomly. We're just going to kill him though. Anyway, even if I hadn't trained shields, by the way, you get to use a shield in statue form. I would still want stat form because it's different tools for different jobs. No, Dragon Form's great on everybody. This is a good example of an enemy I'd want to use Dragon Form on, and not Statue Form, because this guy's Iron Shot, Boris can do a lot. Boris can do a lot of damage with his Iron Shot, so we want to kill him as quickly as possible, and we don't want to be taking extra turns doing things, you know? Iron Shot 3d37. He can do 97, 104, 111 damage to me. But he has cold damage. Yeah, that's true, but under perfect circumstances I'd be wearing another RC. This is fine though, we'll just BVC him and then... ouch. And then kill him. Okay, I really need this Sphinx to die right now because he could paralyze me, so I am going to burn a resource to do that. He couldn't have paralyzed me, by the way, while I was fighting Boris. And the reason is because Boris was in the way. I've pulled this stuff back to this little hallway so I can abuse Vile Clutch and fight only one of these guys at once, and BVC is also doing damage to all of it while I'm fighting. Pretty wild. Right, obviously we are hurt. Wouldn't it be nice if I had regen? Too bad regen doesn't exist anymore. Am I wearing reflection? Acrobat might be better right now. Gary Burton, whenever he comes into my stream, he tells me that I should be wearing an Acrobat amulet. And I'm just going to have to disagree. And I can talk about why. Acrobat is certainly nice. There isn't one in the game, but basically what it does is anytime you take an action that's not fighting, like if you're walking or standing still... Oh, I know what you meant. Yeah, for Dragon Form specifically, I get it. Anytime you're walking or basically not fighting, you will, or not casting spells, like it's got to be just a wait or a move, it gives you plus 15 evasion for the next turn, which is great, but, I mean, yes, I spend some time walking away from dudes, but the reality is that I'd rather have the extra SH, even if it's only 3 points, because that's effective even while I'm fighting, you know? So, oh man. Let's paralyze this dude, stopping him from doing his Word of Recall. Okay, I backed off. I'm a little afraid of this Frost Giant. Now we'll kill him. He could bolt me for 75 damage. Hey, baby! Hey, that's really good. That's worth spending a couple of remove curse scrolls right the hell now. So we have an Arlek ring already, but that's where our extra RC minus is coming from. And we don't need the See Invisible from this because I have Ashenzari. I get that by default. So it's time to get rid of this thing. Yeah. There's nothing else I want to uncurse. Unless there's a better amulet around, there is not. Alrighty, so we remove Curse. Because Ashenzari, we get to pick what to uncurse. We are going to uncurse the Ring with Arlek. That takes away our ring binding, unfortunately. But that's okay. We'll swap that ring out. We will press A, curse item. We are going to curse that Arlek. We'll probably end up in that for the rest of the game. It's too bad we can't curse more jewelry right now. I mean, we could, but we only have 2 remove curses. So I'm trying to conserve. And, yeah, Wesley, Regen and Conjure Flame were... Well, Regen was removed and Conjure Flame was nerfed to a shadow of its former self, but then Gamma Funk put Frozen Ramparts into the game, which is a spell that's roughly 10 times better than Conjure Flame ever was, but shares the same level as Conjure Flame and 1 less spell school. So, I'm convinced they're basically out of their minds up there. Take Charms to 18, get Spellcasting to 16. This is too many things, holy shit. By the way, I have RC Plus even in Dragon Form now. I took too many L's at the same time. Let's teleport. This could go badly very quickly. That was a mistake. I just kind of rolled up in there. Anyway, we could go statue form, which gives us our elect, by the way. But with that said, I'm not going to be in statue form all the time, so I still like having Arlek on my items. What else do we want to memorize? We want to memorize Irradiate, but we can't. We still don't have the spell levels for it. That's okay, because we're training more spellcasting. The point of Acrobat is to let you walk away there. Yeah, but it's the teleport is guaranteed going to get me out. The Acrobat only might work. Also, I have D-missiles, so if my D-missile hadn't fallen there, if I had enough spell power that it just didn't drop, it would have basically done the same thing. And the SH helps a bit while walking away as well, admittedly less. Alright, let's go statue form. I'm a statue now. Take off the dagger. So, I'm going to beat these things up, and then I'm going to show you a couple things. First of all, when I attack, it's taking 1.0, which is a lot. That's actually how fast your unarmed combat is at skill 0. When I walk around, it's taking 1.5 instead of 1. Every single action I take is slower in statue form. But the benefit is that my AC goes from 8 to 35. I get to keep my shield. You know? I get to basically be awesome. It's great. We're going to switch to this tower shield of protection at some point, by the way. Hello, Adort. How are you doing, my friend? We got statue form, so we can crush this game even harder. So, statue form is great. You do extra damage with your melee attacks. Speaking of which, I can drop this dagger now. You get the defense, you get Arlec, you get not just poison resistance, but poison immunity. You get 3 pips of R negative. Or actually, no, I think you only get 1. But then you get like a special resistance to Torment, where you're simply taking less damage from Torment. It's just a really good form. Octopode is very strong. But it's not a tool you want to use all the time. Against enemies that can sort of burst out incredibly high damage very quickly, like liches, annihilators, and so on and so forth. The thing is that all that AC does not guarantee that I'm not going to take 100 plus damage from... Oh god, this is Vaults 5. Whoops. Not going to take 100 plus damage from like an LCS. So in those cases, I typically want to be in Dragon form because, you know, even just like walking around next to an Annihilator could let them LCS me like 2 times and just slam me with 200 damage, which of course I don't want. But like against crap like this, it's pretty good. This is Vaults 5. It requires special tactics to do properly. So you notice first of all, like I'm immediately surrounded by dudes. Now these Vault Guards are pretty easy by themselves. They're basically just Orc Warriors with more hit points. And then all kinds of super big enemies are going to be around here, like this T-Mons who can constrict me, this Dragon, Iron Dragon who can do a lot of damage and shove me off the staircase, and all the staircases are right here, every single one. Occasionally, there will be a hatch that leads down, not today, so that's one way to maybe go somewhere that's not where the ambush is. You could also simply teleport to get away from here, or you could just duke it out in the middle. And the problem is that wardens will show up. As you've seen, they can lock off the staircases for a while, and so basically you can get trapped in here very easily, and you have to survive a really long time, generally, while doing this floor. We are going to actually put D-Missile back up. Alright, check it out. We're gonna do a little thing. This is one of the ways that you can do Vaults 5. This is what I like to do. If my character has good defenses, and we have great defenses now that we're in statue form, we have amazing defenses. What I like to do is go down, attack some stuff, pull it up, kill it all. This works a little better with an axe, but we're fine doing it. Okay. And then what I do is I go statue form, I go down, there's more stuff, and then I just keep pulling it right back up. Now, the issue is that some things will be able to stop me from going up the stairs. Like this golden dragon could shove me off, this T-Mons could simply constrict me, and so I need some way of either getting out of a bad situation like that by, say, blinking and then going somewhere else on the level, or, and this is the ideal for me, killing those guys really, really, really quickly. But we know for a fact we can safely just go right back up right here, because there's just Vault Guards around me. And then I can just kind of kill them all. Get a nice little constrict on all of them. But I know when I go back down, there is a chance that the dragon or the T-Mons could be right next to me, right? Which is a bit spooky. because then we're looking at damage, you know. Also, it has occurred to me that I would like to have Pro Fire on. Yep, that Golden Dragon can spit a lot of fire damage, so I'd like to have Pro Fire while I'm in stat form. This means that when I go Dragon form, I will not have any RC, but that's okay. If I were to try to do this in Dragon form, I'd be eating an absolute shit ton of damage, which is not what we want. Alright, I'm going to preemptively, check it out, I have 10 potions of might. I'm going to preemptively use some might. I'm going to go down, and what we're going to do is we're going to kill those threats that can get me off this staircase. He'll die real fast. Granted, the Iron Dragon could not shove me right now because there's a Vault Guard in the way, but the T-Mons could have constricted me, which would have stopped me from going up. Right, there's no real danger here. This Lich could be annoying. Don't really want to be in statue form versus him, but what we can do, let's see, he hasted himself, so he very well could be the Crystal Spear Lich. Check it out. We're just going to BVC him. Did he just cast Haunt? That makes him... Yeah, okay, so we know he's not the version of the Lich that we're super scared of. He cannot do much damage to me. He can slow me with his Haunt, I guess. It'll summon guys around me like the Shadow Wraith who can hit me and slow me, but he can't do like 100 damage to me, so I'm not too spooked. In fact, there's nothing around here that can shove me off the staircase except for this Storm Dragon, so we're just going to go up. So this is the idea. We're just clearing out the floor bit by bit. This is the most straightforward. And there's many things that can screw you over as you're doing this. We've already seen a couple of them, so you need to have a plan for dealing with them. Probably the biggest one is the Vault Warden, which we haven't seen on that floor yet, because he can lock the staircase from anywhere on the screen. So if you have no way to kill stuff where it's like not just far away but also behind some enemies, you may have a problem. But we've got BVC, Vile Clutch here, which is broken as hell, so more or less every single time I can just cast that on something far away and it will eventually die. Okay, let's pull this Lich up. Let's kill him immediately. I will say that versus things that are either smaller than me or the same size, BVC is slightly less useful on this character, if only because I already have a way to constrict. But only Octopodes get that. Well, and Nagas. Okay. See, this could be risky, because if I attack this Preserver, this Golden Dragon could shove me off the staircase, and then I'm stuck here, and there's just a lot of really ugly things. We're going to try to do it, though. Let's try to go up. Okay, he didn't shove me. It's good. So what we'll do is we'll BVC him, because he's too big for me to constrict him with my tentacles. Then we're just going to beat the hell out of him. It's great. Golden Dragons are one of the highest hit points enemies in the game. And we just killed him like it was nothing. Well, actually, I guess they only have 100 hit points. Still, they have pretty good defenses. 3 pips, 2 pips. Maybe a little less beefy than I thought. Just use summon butterflies to not get shoved. It's not reliable because the butterflies fly all over the place. I would rather use, you could put a spire behind you so you don't get shoved. That's pretty good. Okay, we'll put D-Missile back up. Well, Spire I think is better because you can guarantee it'll land in the exact spot you want it to land in. Alright, we'll go down. Oh, this is risky. Alright. Alright, I'm going to BVC this guy. Let's hope we don't take too much damage. We should be fine because of how much defense I have. But check this out. He's constricted. I'm going to put a spire behind me so I don't get shoved off this staircase. Everything's taken a really long time, except for my attacks because of all my unarmed combat training. So now we're going to start attacking. And even our attacks are taking longer than I'd like. Alright, now I'm going to... I don't want a lamp, that's not going to do enough damage. Or it might not even hit. I'm going to Ice Blast. Holy shit, look at all that damage. Look at all that damage. That's a lot of damage. Let's attack one more time. Now let's go up. Look how hurt I am, you know? Not good. Kill this thing. The idea now is to just kill as many things as quickly as possible. I do have GDR, by the way. That's guaranteed damage reduction. It's as though I was wearing plate mail. So my AC is guaranteeing that any mundane melee attack or ranged attack that's not a spell is guaranteed to be reduced by a certain amount of my AC. That's something you don't get unless you're wearing armor or you're in statue form. Dragon form also does it, but only if you're in a draconian, only if your race is draconian. Anyway, that was a bit risky what I just did there. I don't know if we could have died, but we could have had a real problem. What I probably should have done is I should have mited before I went down to kill things a little faster, because I knew there was a lot of stuff. There was a lot of stuff that could stop me from, that could mess with my positioning and stop me from going upstairs. So anyway, we've cleared the center pretty well. These Ettins can do a lot of melee damage, but I'm not too concerned. This Lich, we'd like to know what book he has, and we don't. We're not going to let him get close until we know what book he has, so we use BVC. And we use BVC on these guys too. Something I could do is start casting stuff at range on him while he's BVC'd. Iron Shot's a good one if you happen to have it. We haven't memorized that. Iron Shot's amazing versus things that have no evasion. Dragon form always gives GDR. I don't think so, but we're going to find out. I'm happy to be proved wrong. Alright, Dragon form Learn DB is useless. Let's try GDR. Whoops, GDR 3. Dragon form has 34% GDR. Okay, I stand corrected. I thought that only Draconians got that. I guess I was thinking of the fact that Draconians get to keep their existing scales, so their AC is better. I stand corrected. It is still less GDR than statue form by a little bit. What's more important is it's significantly less AC. That's good to know for the future, though. Uh-oh. Alright, so we could get double LCS'd here. What we're going to do is we're going to file a Floods, and that should put stuff between us, and it did. He has the haste book. That means that it's one of 3 books with haste. He just used Bolt of Draining, so now we know that he has the crappy Haunt book. It's less god tier than statue form. Not for all scenarios. I would have been happier to be in Dragon form versus that Lich if he had been the LCS guy. Okay, this is a Titan. They can't shove you off staircases or anything, but you should be wary of them anyway, because they are just big boys. Hit for 55 damage, 110 hit points. Deceptive, though, because they can heal themselves. So it seems like they have more. They can airstrike you for a lot of damage if you're flying, or even if you're not, but more if you're flying. And they have a really strong lightning bolt, but we're just going to beat his ass because BVC is broken as hell. No, it's more about avoiding LCS, Wesley. It's more about like the really. I'm actually less worried about Hellfire or Damnation if you prefer, because that's usually capped out at like 60 damage, you know, or I guess 120 if they get 2 actions. Whereas LCS, we're looking at over 200 damage. By the way, so I was here, I was down here, and there was a warden, and he locked the gates as I was going up. Cool thing is, if that happens, you still get to go up. But when I come back down, he'll be there, and the doors will be locked. Yep. BVC him to be sure. Sphinx cannot paralyze me right now. My MR is too high, so we're just going to attack. That's dead. There's another warden coming up, but he hasn't locked the doors yet, so let's go up. Not all characters are going to be able to tackle Vaults 5 like this. if I hadn't found statue form, you would see me doing Vaults 5 in a very different way. Or I might do it in a similar way, but as soon as I run into a serious problem, like where I was being, ass-whooped by that not the golden dragon, but the storm dragon and his friends, you probably would have seen me teleport and try to take the corners of the place, one at a time. So we kill the T-Mons. We kill this Ogre Mage. BVC's doing work for us here. Is that? Hey, this Tengu Reaver has Wormbane. What a cute weapon. This is obnoxious. Okay, see how I didn't kill this Warden, but the staircase became unlocked anyway? After a certain amount of time, that will happen. Let's go up, because the Storm Dragon is very... Whoa, hello. Let's go Dragon Form to kill him quicker. My statue form duration ended right when I was fighting him. Hello, Quello1. How you doing, my friend? Welcome to the stream. Okay, we go statue form, we go down. Lucky enough that this guy didn't lock the door, so let's just immediately go back up. It's only a couple of deep trolls, but if I can whittle down the enemies in this area, I'm happy with it. Let's go back down. He still didn't lock the door. It's pure RNG. He might or he might not. By the way, be aware of these Phantasmal Warriors, because they can halve your magic resistance. And while nothing is around right now that could affect me, there is a lot of stuff that affects your magic resistance on Vaults 5. So try not to let that happen, and if it does, remember that you can cancel it off with a potion. Alright, Warden wandered off. That's great. Just keeping on with this little plan. Now, you notice I didn't really wander far from the staircase until right now. And the only reason I'm doing it now is because I have a feel for this. Like, we fought so much stuff that I happen to know that the floor is depleted enough that it's safer for me to wander around now. And I could go pretty much anywhere I want, and I'm not going to run into too much stuff packed up in the same spot. And remember, we still have Pog. That's another thing I could have done immediately. Like, instead of teleporting right off the bat, I could have just Pogged from the staircase over off to the east or something. Done this, walked over here. Just kept Pogging, And the goal would have been, assuming I couldn't do my little staircase fight thing, the goal would have been not to get here, but to get all the way down here. Oh god, hold up. Hold up. This is really bad. This guy could have LCS. Let's put a Spire in front of him so he cannot get me. Whew, statue form ending. You deflect the negative energy. Well, he does not. He does not have the thing I'm afraid of. I'm still going to put D-Missile back up because there's a lot of ranged attacks here. Yeah, this is not a scary lich. We do need to re-up statue. See how it's light? It's lighter, this green? Or I guess darker. Just get statue form back up. Now it's bright again. That means that the duration is good to go. We're just going to attack this lich, and he dies. So yeah, the goal is to get into one of these corners. Doesn't matter which one. Because there's just less space for things to attack you here. And less things are going to come to you. Not that you should be making a ton of noise, but... imagine how many, considering the fact that enemies spawn in huge amounts here, 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 and here. Imagine how many more things you're pulling from the center than you are from one corner. Let's go up. That demonologist summoned a Hellbeast. Those can shove me off the staircase, so we'll rest a bit. We're actually going to go Dragon Form. We're going to come back down. We're going to walk right up to him and eat him before his servants can do anything to help. Wormbane. Oh man, you might have seen a very different game if I had found Wormbane way earlier on. Look how good that item is. You might have seen a statue form plus Wormbane kind of character. Uh-oh, I'm marked. Let's pull this dragon up. No longer marked, but remember, everything on the floor is going to be looking for me. Oh, I got shoved off the staircase by the dire elephant. That's okay. Let's kill the thing that can slow me, which is the freezing wraith. I'm not afraid of this deep elf high priest because he will not hellfire me. Not with the elephant next to me. I put up a spire so the elephant can't shove me off the staircase when I go up, and then I go up. Go D-missile. Always important to keep D-missile up. Again, I'm not too afraid of hellfire from the priest, or damnation if you want to call it that, because there's just too many beefy dudes around me. He will not want to hurt his own guys. So we're gonna go up, kill the big boys that can do good damage, go back down. Now it's dangerous, because he could hellfire me a bunch of times. So we're going to step up like this. We got Fireball, but that was from the Fire Giant. Let's put a Spire here so we don't get shoved. Let's BVC this guy. Holy shit, let's go up. Woo, big damage. I'm going to make a forest. Statue form is ending. Let's put it back up. I'm taking a shitload of damage. This is actually really bad. This is actually really, really bad. Why don't we drink a heal wounds? Ouch, that didn't do anything. Actually, this is incredibly dangerous. I don't want to be in melee with these guys anymore. I am going to cast Blink. That's way better. Okay, that's a lot better. Do a cloud. Sadly, it's fire. Man, I sure wish I had regen. Oh, also we could get airstriked, I guess, for a ton of damage. Whoops, I forgot about that. If that's the case, I should probably use silence, but I don't have it. Uh-oh. This is way worse than I thought it was. Let's think about this. I could blink. This is where statue form becomes kind of a problem, you know? I'm going to teleport. Yeah. Just a ton of damage possible here. It would have been better for me to fog in this position, I think. But yeah, statue form is an issue here because we have the potential to take a lot of damage because every one of our turns is taking so long. Tempted to berserk. That'll give me more hit points while I swing. Why don't we do that? No, that'll slow me down more. Or it'll speed me up more, which I actually don't want, because I want the teleport to take effect. Could be okay. Let's just swing. Swing, and we teleport. Good. That was my fault. I should not have taken it so lightly to have two titans on the screen, basically, because they can airstrike you from anywhere. Really good example of where having fine control over your movements, aka not being in statue form, might have been better. Although, I wouldn't want to be in dragon form in there either, because then I'd be fragile, you know. I'm going to go into map mode and press Control F to get this to be blue, meaning that I can auto-explore it again. The goal of which is to find those titans who are hiding from me, so we'll do it again. There he is. Good. Basically, the Mark Trap screwed me. What I should have done after the Mark Trap took effect, after going up, I should have come back down with a teleport scroll active. We're going to do that now, actually. So we'll go... actually, we'll go dragon form. We'll read Telly, and we'll go down. The reason I'm not statue form is because statue form's so slow that we might have teleported before we even got downstairs. Oh, Silver Rune of Zod is a mimic. How cute. There's a book with spells I don't care about. Let's learn Irradiate. It's really, really goddamn good. This character actually has conjurations already, so it's really, really quite nice. Charms book manual is used up, so we'll just train shields and unarmed combat. I'm cool with that. With single combat, I'm probably going to be in dragon form most of the time. Let's check this out. Oh no, I'm flayed. Minus 67 hit points. Whatever will I do? Oh no, I'm double flayed. Oh no, I'm really in trouble. Boop! Statue form turns off flay. You're a statue. You don't have skin. Can't flay your skin. You don't have any. There's the real rune. We now have 4 runes. This is about the time I would probably go win the game if this was not going to be a 15 rune game of DCSS. I should have gone dragon form there, not statue. Whoops. Scroll of Silence, that's helpful. The Ring of Mebusowitz. Stark and Tam plus Blink are Poise RF and MR+, so that's pretty damn good. We will drop the Ring of RF. We will put this thing on. I don't care if it's Stark and Tam. It doesn't actually do anything to you unless you take the ring off, at which point it makes you glow a lot, which mutates the hell out of you, probably. This thing will let me blink on the ability menu, so I can do that even if I'm silenced, because it's an item, evocable, really. It has our Poise, which is, you know, I don't need it because I have stat form, which completely makes me immune to poison, but it's nice to have when I'm not in stat form. I mean, it's got MR, it's just a really good ring. Most importantly, it gives me RF. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and curse that. I know for a fact I'm going to want to have that thing on forever. There's no way I'm taking that off. I'd be very surprised. It does too many good things. And that's Vaults 5. So we found one item that was well and truly good. Technically we found 2 because there's Wormbane, but we're not going to use that. It's just too late for me to care, really. But, anything else on this floor? Nope. That's cool, though. That's another branch down. Five remove curse scrolls available. If we wanted to, we could go ahead and curse the rest of our rings. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna enchant up this tower shield, and we're gonna use that. We have a nice stack of 7 enchant armor scrolls. You'll tend to stack a lot on an octopode because you have nowhere to really spend them except for your hat and your shield. So we'll do that until it's fully enchanted at +8. So let's take a look at this. 1% chance to fail statue form. I'm going to read remove curse. I'm going to uncurse just my shield. I'm going to wear my new big boy shield. Now it looks bad because now Summon Force is like 22% fail rate, but we're going to curse that shield now. And everything gets to be a pretty good fail rate again. I mean, Summon Force is still higher than I'd like, so is Dragon Form, but we are training shields now. We're going to take that all the way to 25. Now I wonder, what else can I take off? What else can I swap? I'd like to have corrosion all the time. I suppose we could wear the Arc Corrode instead of the Ring of the Octopus King. A little bit of a defense penalty, but it would be nice to have corrosion resistance all the time. It's a bit of a luxury, but I'll take it. Positive energy we don't really need. I could just, you know, not fight negative energy things while I'm a dragon. But that can be a bit of a problem because there are some things that have negative energy attacks that you want to be a dragon while fighting. For example, I would actually rather fight things that torment as a dragon than a statue. Even though statue gives you benefits, you know, certain resistances against torment, which generally will have your hit points, but will do less if you have R negative and will do less if you're in statue form. I still would rather be a dragon so I can just kill the stuff as fast as possible, assuming it's right next to me. So with that said, I think we'll just, yeah, I think we'll just put on the Ring of Resist Corrosion instead of Ring of Positive Energy, and we'll curse that. And now we have a nice little line of green down here on the left side. See. So I know that nothing is going to surprise me with a big pile of damage. How many remove curse do I have? I have 2. Well, let's hope we either find more remove curse or don't find another amazing item, because what I want to do... Okay, so transmutations, it says it's 17.3 now. I'll curse Evasion, I'll curse Octopus King, fully bound in jewelry. Boom! Another 1 point of skill, 18.7. It's pretty good. Things are much more castable now. Solid stuff. I kind of don't, by the way, want to go the Shining one even with the regen nerf, if only because it means I can't use Val Clutch anymore. It's just going to make things really kind of a big headache. I have to think about this. And I'm going to have to think about it soon, because Extended is coming up. And if Extended is coming up, that means I really want to get Necromutation online if I don't go Shining one. And that's like 99% fail rate right now, because we don't have much in the way of Necromancy training. Just look at the gods real fast and think about it. Maybe I can workshop something new. Be kind of nice to have Gozak at this point in the game. Ashenzari's not doing a whole lot for us in Extended. I mean, yeah, it avoids traps, but traps are less of a big deal once you're in Extended. Shafts are almost a good thing, you know? You don't need Necromute at all. No, you don't need it, but I'm saying that with regen out of the game, it becomes even more useful for making your Extended experience less of a headache. You could certainly still do Extended without the Shining one and without Necromutation. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying it's obnoxious as hell now that regen's out of the game. Game really pushes you to play under the Shining one if you're going to do the extra runes, I think, without regen. Anyway, I think we will just hold off on that. I probably will stick with Ashenzari. It's fairly easy. Well, I don't know about Neo Tomb with no source of, I mean, you could use Tree Form, I suppose. Was Che without Necromute didn't have too hard of a time? I assume you abused Lignification and Tomb, is that right? Wait, what am I doing? I don't want to be in depths yet. Whoops. Well, let me just clear this landing, I guess. This is Isil. He can be very dangerous, but not for this character. You had to use 7. Wow. Okay, so sorry, I was thinking about where I wanted to go, and I just kind of on instinct went down into depths, which we don't really... And we could do it right now if we wanted to, but I want to think about where I want to go next. We could go to Crypt, which would be easier. I only want to save Crypt for last if I don't go... If I do go the Shining one, because Shining one gets a lot of piety, and Crypt, it's a good way to pump that up. I think we'll go Necromute. I think we'll do that, because the last tutorial I did, I went Shining one, so we'll show the general caster play with Necromute. Even with regen gone, it's still doable. It's just going to be a little annoying. I need Amnesia, For Tomb, I will really want it, you know. Yeah, we have a lot of... Yeah, I'm mainly talking about Tomb when I say you really want Necromutation, if possible. Alright, this is cool. Let's take Necromancy to, like, 15. And that'll give me Infestation as well, so I can do some fun stuff. I really need to find some Amnesia Scrolls. Alright, so that means I can go ahead and go to Crypt. Hopefully we find some Amnesia Scrolls in here. We should slap most of these things to death very easily. I should watch out for this guy. He can do a lot of damage with his Iron Shot. We're going to melee him. Granted, it's very, very, very unlikely that an Iron Shot hits me at this point. Because check it out. My SH is huge. My D-missile's up. He just tried to Iron Shot me. And it just hit him because it reflected off my shield. So... It's not to say I should assume that's going to happen, but it is pretty unlikely for a ranged attack to hit me as long as D-missile's up now that I have the shield. More likely than not that it doesn't get through, I think. But you gotta assume that it will. But as long as I'm attacking, I'm not really giving him a chance to get multiple attacks on me, because attacking is so quick. Not anymore, I'm slowed, holy shit. Let's kill Boris. Looks like Boris just killed himself with an Iron Shot. Boris comes back, by the way. That's why we saw Boris twice in one game. It's not really a whole lot for me to be too worried about on this, in this branch. There's a couple things, like Ancient Liches and Cursed Skulls and things like that. We'll talk about what this character's going to do to defeat those as I come to them. But for the most part, this is just an adventure in tabbing through enemies. The Ancient Champions I should be somewhat wary of, because, I mean, if they get lucky, they could do, like, 150 damage to me in one turn, or more. Yeah, that's 2 Iron Shots from being hasted, but then they might get 3, potentially, because I'm in staff form, if I were to, like, move next to them instead of attack. But yeah, my attacks are very fast. I mean, they're slower than I'd like. This large shield is slowing them down. They're not actually 1.0 all the time. Oh, here we go. How many Lig do I have? I have a lot. I have 12 Lignification. So going TSO or going, you know, I don't have to go Necromutation. I could make it work. Lig is greater than Crypt. That's true. We could Lig right here, actually. Stat form should be enough, but check it out, I will Lig. So I go Lignification. Actually, wait. Yeah, I'll go Lignification. So this turns me into a tree. My EV is nothing, but the thing is that the big deal was that this Cursed Skull can do Torment, but now I can't be tormented because I'm a tree. I am going to BVC all this stuff, so the Skull is taking damage. I can't move as a tree, but that's okay, even though these guys have reach attacks because the BVC is damaging them. We'll just keep BVCing. So I'm not taking big chunks of my hit points as this thing approaches me. We're going to let it get next to me. We'll BVC him, and we'll slap the shit out of him with the branches, and he dies. I could have probably just done that in staff form. See, like here I'm in staff form, and I'm going to swing on him, and he's going to die, and I didn't take much damage, but there is the potential that he decides to torment 30 times, and it doesn't matter if I'm resistant at that point. Wow, that's Boris again. What up, buddy? He's gonna come back every single floor, I guess. It's only a chance, but he just did it 2 floors in a row. Okay. Not much food in here, so you'll be eating rations mostly, but that's okay. Food is basically irrelevant in this game. Okay, this should be pretty much the end of Crypt 2. There's a little bit left, but the main show is, of course, Crypt 3. That's where the loot is. Honestly, I think that Crypt should be made into a single floor. There's almost no reason for it to be 3 floors. It's just padding to the game. It's one of the biggest problems with Extended, is that there's so much padding. And And really, like, B-Crawl did a great job. That's a fork of DCSS. Did a great job of shortening things up, you know? Like, instead of seven, instead of 7 floors apiece, the hells are actually only 1 floor. Or 2, I think. It's really good. Alright, this is a bit of a fortress. It's going to be these cursed skulls outside. Every Crypt 3 is the same. Well, it's a set of pre-built areas, so there's like 3 or 4 different versions of it. So you'll very quickly recognize all of them. Technically, I could walk around in this water as an octopode and go walking through the back, but I don't care to. This is fine. St. Roca's down here. Okay. A little late for him to really do anything to me. Let's BVC him. Let's MO. Let's go Dragon Form. So I have more fire resist. I didn't really need to do that, but it is funny. Oh, I recognize that this is a spam bot. Oh my fucking god. I sure wish Twitch would focus their efforts on getting rid of spam bots instead of banning people for making off-color jokes, but this is a real guy, how could you? Yeah, right? I know, I'm just a tyrant. They call me the Janny. But yeah, I mean, I've seen that exact message multiple times, you know? So it would be so easy, just so easy for Twitch to recognize that particular bot and do something about it, but they don't give a shit. Too busy policing content, I guess. This is Khufu. He can torment me. I want him to be next to me, and then I just want to BVC him and just slap him around. I could go tree form, but I really don't want to because this bone dragon hits like a truck, so let's just kill him in stat form. Even with my big AC from tree form. Have you heard about our Lord and Savior, Raid Shadow Legends? It's a meme, I guess. I think I've heard something like this before. It's a meme, you dip. Okay, stat form these guys. Some Hell Knights, no big deal. I can deal with fire damage, not a problem. I'm just gonna auto-explore. I guess it'll take me into this water, that's fine. Ordinarily, you wouldn't be able to do this, because, you know, you wouldn't be an octopus man, but that's cool. There's nothing to be found in this layout in the water, unfortunately. I should be dragon form for this. He could have had LCS and done a lot of damage to me. We know that there's going to be liches, several of them, and an ancient lich. But I do not fear them at all. Here's the ancient lich. PVC him. Who cares what he has? We're just going to kill him. Oh, I care about that. Hello. Hello, Menace. No, I'm cool with him silencing. That actually would be helpful. Can I just beat him? Yeah, in the end vault, it's kind of cool, actually. Let's make a 4. Oh, we can't. Oh, no, I'm in the silence. No! Alright, that's fine. I'm not casting any spells. Yeah, what's he doing with all these undead? It feels like he's breaking the rules. BVC him, now his shield won't do a goddamn thing. We'll attack him, and he'll die. Yeah, what's he doing with all these evil guys, though? Stat form Octo. Actually, that was Dragon form Octo, but yeah. Alrighty, we got rings. We got good rings. Hey, baby. RF plus, RN plus, strength, dex, our poise. That's not bad. We may wear that. That certainly beats... Well, I was gonna say that beats resist negative, but we're not wearing that anymore. If you can't beat them, join them. How many remove curse do we have? Just one? Okay, that's a great ring, but I don't think we're going to end up wearing it. As cool as it is. Tab through the rest of this stuff, it should pretty much just be popcorn. Yeah, we're starving a lot. I guess my spell hunger is still there for my spells, but I have like 42 rations, so I'm not afraid. I'm not even looking at the loot. I mean, if you're thinking that I'm carefully evaluating what I'm getting, I'm not. I'll check it at the end of the floor, just because I'm so strong. I know I don't need help right now, so this is just a matter of convenience, really, for me to do this. Okay, we'll check the floor. Nothing except for that ring. Check our inventory. There's an Amulet of Faith, which we certainly do not care about on this god. And that's Crypt. Got through it really fast. My fiancée just dropped off some delicious tea here. It's very nice of her. Let me think. Where do I want to go? I guess I really only have one choice that makes sense. I could go into Tomb, but that's insane. We'll go into Depths now. We'll get, let's get Intelligence for our last level, since I'm going to be wanting to cast some more high-level magic. Well, doing Crypt is really easy, but you will not just do it for the experience, because the thing is that sometimes there is good loot in there. And the thing is, like, sometimes you actually really need that loot. There are reasons why you might want to jump into Crypt on certain characters. Just to try to get certain resistances. Remember these ghost vaults that we left behind? We can easily do these now for a little tiny experience boost, and also some rations and whatever else is in here. I press Control O to see what I've left behind. Let's go to D11. There it is. Yeah, this was insane. Look at this. This is D11 and it has this crap in it. In statue form, I actually am immune to Hornet Paralysis because I'm immune to poison. Let's clear this stuff out. Oh, there was this thing with Drain and our Poise on MP+9. I don't need that. Don't need the tin of Tremor Stones, that's for sure. Just a bunch of crap in here at this point. But man, if I was a melee character, if we had done this earlier, we could have gotten a 6 set of Storm Dragon scales really early. How nice would that have been? Doesn't matter for this guy, but... Tremor Stones are terrible. They're especially bad for this character because they do more damage. They do more damage based on having less AC, right? If you have a lot of AC, it blocks most of the damage, but otherwise it can do a ton of damage to you. And there's always a chance for it to hit you. So you can imagine how awful that is on an Octopode who has no AC. On top of that, like, yes, right now I suppose I could use them because I'm in statue form, but why would I bother? It doesn't seem to... It doesn't scale off of your evocations for some strange reason. So it's just kind of a BS item. It might stay in the game, it might not. It feels incredibly silly to me. The only characters I could imagine using it and feeling good about using it are characters that have high AC in the early game. Something that's probably already pretty strong. So it's an item I think that can be safely ignored on like 99% of characters. But hey, maybe I'll workshop some use for it. I guess it might be okay in Elf. I don't know. I mean, I don't know exactly how. I'd have to see the damage formulas. If you could guaranteed kill an Elf with it, like a higher level Elf, then it'd be worth using it in Elf maybe, but I don't think that's the case. Especially since it doesn't scale off evokes. Alright, so as you can see, we're just kind of flying through depths. This character is built in such a way that he's just too strong. So we're only going to slow down if we run into things that either we haven't seen before or will present an actual threat to this guy. Because this is all crap, you know, this is like Deep Trolls, Deep Troll Shaman, this is a Deep Troll Earth Mage, which I guess could explode me with LRD, but, because I'm a statue, but it doesn't really matter, I just walk up and slap them. Hell Knights, Ettins, more Hell Knights, ugly things, like this is, I mean, I'm surrounded and I just don't care. And if I get too surrounded, I'll just cast my Irradiate spell, you know, and what this does is it does a shitload of damage. Everything around me, it contaminates me a little bit, but as long as my contam is only gray, I'm good to go. I can just keep doing it. Now it's light gray, so it's time to stop. So this is how you build a powerhouse caster. You turn him into a melee character. And if you feel like this is cheating, if you feel like this is no longer really a caster, I understand. In a sense, that's true. But it's the only way to make a caster that feels as strong, really, as a big Minotaur or something. I mean, certainly you could make a character that's casting, you know, level 9 explosive magics and stuff, but this is not it. Does Potion of Cancellation still dispel contamination? Sort of. It reduces your contamination level. So if you're so contaminated that you're probably going to get mutated, like if you're at the yellow level, it may or may not actually take you below that threshold. You may have to use a couple. But yes, I mean, short answer is yes. I don't know why it doesn't just turn it off. You know, cancellation is so rare that it should. Ethical Muni caster feels pretty powerful even in Zot. Oh, well, yeah, Necromancy is kind of, I mean, I'm not suggesting that the other schools that you cannot feel strong. I'm suggesting that you cannot feel so unstoppable. You know, you cannot sit there and just tab through a bunch of enemies on anything that's not transmuting. Any caster that's not transmuting. Certainly, the guy who's, you know, focusing on necromancy, he has access to broken bullshit like, Haunt, or more importantly, Infestation. And he can just kind of stand there while his allies clear everything out, and that's doable. Personally, I have more fun doing this. Anyway, let's go stat form. Let's go in through here. Alrighty, so we went into Hell. Why have I gone into Hell early without finishing Depths? The reason, we're not going the Shining One, therefore I can make use of Garion's Horn. And I'd like to do that. We're going to take some steps. We've gotten this layout here, right? Crap, I'm going to get exploded a lot. That's okay. Shouldn't have been in stat form for this. We'll dig, take a step, 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 take a step. Dig, take a step. Alright, so I've made a little, whoops, I've made a little kill hole here. Now this is less fun than it used to be because of the lack of regen. Stat form is clearly the way to go for brain dead face rolling, while technically still being a caster. Yeah, no, that's kind of a cruel way to put it, but yeah, pretty much that's correct. I'd say it's the way, it is the path if you want to be least likely to make a mistake. On the other hand, stat form does introduce certain ways to make mistakes that don't exist on other builds. And what I mean by that is, because it slows you down, if you fight the wrong set of enemies with it up, you can very quickly have a big problem. I almost had a big problem against those Titans earlier, because of, largely because of stat form, but also because of positioning. But in general, yeah, you're absolutely right. Move this way so he doesn't walk into the Zot trap. Holding tab is the ultimate benchmark for character power. I mean, you joke, but it actually is. I mean, it's kind of a philosophical question to a degree. Like, what does power actually mean in DCSS? Yeah, I know you're half joking. But like, it's the thing is like, okay, so if the character can survive, if played perfectly, way more often, okay, or like 100% of the time, but dies when it screws up, is that more powerful than a character that dies way less often even when they screw up, but dies more often even with perfect play, if that makes sense. I may have phrased that weirdly. You know, so for example, a great example of this is I think that Artificers are the best start in DCSS, hands down, because I'm good enough at the game that I can simply survive, or rather, as long as the early game doesn't screw me over, I can dominate in the mid game and the late game because I know how to build my character, I know which gods to go for, I know basically how to turn a game of DCSS into a win, no matter what, as long as the bullshit in the early game doesn't kill me. And the problem with that is that the bullshit in the early game absolutely can kill almost any character, barring something super strong like a Mibby or whatever. But the Artificer gives you these tools, right? These wands. This is Iron Shot. Uh-oh. This is a problem no matter what I do. I guess I'll just walk up to him and hope nothing happens. There we go. Alright, so what was I saying? Yeah, so the Artificer, he starts out, and you know, your new DCSS player might think that he's weak, because all he gets is like a short blade and some wands. And you think, well, I only have 45 charges of these wands, and one of them is random effects, which is basically useless if you don't, well, it seems that way if you don't know how to use it. But I mean, in reality, it is the best class in the game. Better than a Berserker. And the reason is that you really shouldn't be using your wands except in emergency situations, right? Even with that crappy little short blade, you can take on most threats in the dungeon. So yeah, I mean, if you just blow your wands right off the bat, you know, if you just blow all your wands on the Artificer against stupid shit, like if you're using Wand of Flame against rats, then yeah, you're gonna suck. But if you're playing carefully, if you're positioning properly, if you're doing all the right things, and then using your wands when the game presents an obnoxiously unfair situation, then your Artificer is going to win 100% of the time. Mitigating the margin of error versus mitigating absolute edge cases, protecting against absolute. Yeah, that's I think an equally wordy way of putting it, but that makes sense to me. Okay, let's go dragon form. Ouch! Right, let's eat a shitload of damage from these ice dragons. Let's walk backwards. I guess I will be a statue. We'll just step forward and hopefully I don't get LCS'd. I gotta solve that RC problem right now, or soon. That RC null in dragon form, that's gonna be an issue. Oh, Dota, I'm triggered. Cases where Blink Dagger is the safer option, but only assuming optimal play. Well, I mean, there's the ultimate optimal play. If I'm to believe you about what you had to say about Invoker, which is that it's effectively overpowered but balanced by the fact that it's hard to play, that to me strikes me as the ultimate example of that. You know, Invoker's like the Artificer of Dota, because I mean, if it's crap in the hands of somebody who's even medium skill but becomes outrageously broken in the hands of somebody who's like the theoretical optimal Dota player, you know. Sort of interesting. And like if I wanted to dump 10 bajillion hours into Dota and actually get good at it, if I were to ever do that, which I don't think I will or will ever play the game again because it's horribly addicting and bad for me. But assuming that weren't the case, I would probably be focused on doing something like Invoker, because I want the thing with the highest skill ceiling, which also has the highest... Well, it's not the skill ceiling that really matters to me. I want the thing with the highest power potential. Looks like Barbarian disagrees, I assume, about the Dota thing. Ooh, there's some damage. Let's go Dragon Form. We want to be Dragon Form because this guy has Force Lance, which is basically the same damage as Iron Shot. Ah, damn, he's also got Bolt of Cold. Let's just BVC him. We could take a lot of damage here, but we're going to try to get the kill. Good. Worst case scenario, we can blink out of this, we can silence, we can do a lot of stuff. It is a bit risky, no matter what I do against those guys, other than to pull them back and fight them one at a time. But I had enough hit points that I wasn't worried. Okay, end transformation. Let's use this acquirement. Actually, let's identify first. Torment, don't need that. That's garbage on this character. Invoker only seems like the strongest in a vacuum. Interesting. Except that literally every player in the top 200 on the ladder at some point spammed Invoker mid. Well, that is evidence, and I'm just playing devil's advocate. I'm not actually disagreeing or agreeing with anybody, but just from a logical, just from a logical, you know, argumentative kind of perspective, if every player in the top 200 in the ladder at some point spammed Invoker mid, that could mean a different thing. That could mean that people in the early and the middle of the ladder suck ass at dealing with a well-played Invoker. But it could, at the same time, simultaneously be true that the highest tier players can deal with that. But I don't know. I'm just pointing out maybe a potential gap in logic. You could be right. He's not broken at pro levels of play where teams are perfectly coordinated. Oh, okay. Well, seems like... No, it's okay. You guys can argue about Dota if you want. I'm not... It doesn't bother me. Now that I'm no longer playing that game, I'm much less apt to get butthurt about it. Oh my god. I fucking hate Dota. Like... It's not any particular thing about the game. It's just the game as a whole. I feel like it is designed as the crack cocaine of video games, and there are other games like it, but Dota has this almost perfect design to hijack that sort of reward center of your brain, because it's almost like gambling, and it's not gambling. Obviously, if you play well, you're going to win, especially if the rest of your team is playing well at the same time. But there's just enough wiggle room for you to say, well, I lost because of my team. And it becomes this sort of, it becomes a lot like a gambling addiction, because it's like I might win, I might lose, and there are so many things outside of your control. I mean, you can control a lot in Dota, you know, and Wesley was teaching me some of that. If you're, you know, if you are, for example, playing a good support character, you can change the entire face of the game. You know, you can change almost everything about the game, and you can single-handedly lead your team to victory in any position, really, if you play properly. But you're still going to lose some games, even if you play perfectly. You're going to lose some games entirely because the other team is just better, or entirely because your team is just screwing about, or whatever. So a lot of it is, you know, it does activate. No matter if you're good or you're bad, I think it's to some degree going to activate that reward center in your brain where it's like. It's called intermittent rewards, okay? It's the reason why you get these grandmas who can tug on a slot machine for, you know, the last 5-10 years of their lives, and they're really excited doing it, even though it's boring as hell, you know, because, you know, there's flashing lights, and they might win, they might lose, and they win just often enough that they get that excitement, and there's just something in your brain. I think it has to do with, like, the hunter-gatherer thing where, you know, it's like people had to sit around, especially men, and that's not a sexist statement, that's just how it was in primitive times. Like, the men were the hunters, and that's why your average guy has the capability of sitting around for 12 hours staring at a computer screen trying to make something happen, because in the old days, that's what you did. You went into the forest for 12 to 48 hours and you waited for something to happen, and then you hunted the animal, and maybe you followed it for the next, you know, several hours after injuring it, as like the persistence hunters that we were. And I think that puts something into the sort of the reptilian brain, you know, like the back part of our brain, that old part of your brain that never really evolved, that makes us so able to be addicted to things like Dota in the modern day, because it's like you want that reward that's like it's there behind the scenes, and you know it's there and it'll come eventually. You just have to have the patience, you know. I don't know. I don't mean to go on a rant about Dota, but the bottom line is I think it's really addicting. Let's use the Scroll of Acquirement. You should never sit on these. There is a Book of Changes. Not really useful at this stage in the game, but it would be incredible earlier on. Sticks to Snakes could still potentially be helpful, but I don't think I'm going to bother with it. Instead, I guess we're just going to take a big pile of gold. That's not bad. Alrighty. Let's go down to Depths 4. The Snake Bomb. Yeah, well, maybe whoops. I might already have it. No, I don't. I might have it for sale. No, I don't. Yeah, they changed how acquirement works. I like it. It can still screw you, but it screws you in a way that feels less bad. So that's actually the only change in Trunk that I like. You get to choose from like 5 different preset things, and one of them is always gold, as far as I can tell. The thing that makes me a little bit sad is that I can't guarantee that I'm going to see jewelry. You know, so obviously on this Octopode, that's a little upsetting. Probably overall a nerf for this guy. That's okay. It's an enormous nerf, and you guys may be surprised by this, but I think it's an enormous nerf for Berserkers. Because, especially for fellow Berserkers, kind of a weird little niche. Oh god, these are tomb enemies. What are these doing here? These guys can torment me. Please come next to me, you asshole. Alright, that's it. We will Lightning Rod. I could go Tree Form to avoid his torment, but it's the weirdest vault. I've never seen this before. Depths just spawning tomb enemies. Yeah, I don't know, Adort. We're gonna find out what the okay, there it is. It's because it's got the +7 Scepter of Torment. That's an unrand. That's the meme here. You gotta fight super mummies. Yeah, I know, Adort. I don't disagree. Although forcing the player to fight like a handful of extended enemies is not terrible to me. You could always just avoid this vault, you know? I guess the idea is that the reward is supposed to be worth it, although this thing is kind of a piece of shit. I'm not gonna lie. It torments your enemies around you, but by the time unless you find this really early on, it's kind of pointless because the stuff that you're fighting at this point in the game is immune to torment, so, you know. Even if I was inclined to use a mace, or whatever that is, I think I'd avoid it. That, and I think hold on. The brand is Pain, which is also completely ignored by endgame threats. Hey, buddy. I need an Acid Wand. That would be really helpful against stuff like this. This guy could have Iron Shot. Oh, big boy damage, big boy damage. It's because I'm getting tormented. What am I doing? What am I doing? Of course I want to irradiate. So irradiate is so good, even though you only get a couple castings before you're so contaminated that you probably don't want to continue. The reason it's so good is because it's guaranteed to hit. And virtually guaranteed to do just a metric ton of damage to all the enemies around you. So, you know, look at that, 3 casts. I was really confident that would kill him. Whereas I could attack 20 times and I could miss every single time, you know? Everything past S branches feels shoddily designed. Yep, I agree. The closer you get to Extended, the more this game falls apart. And that's one of the reasons why I focused on adding stuff to the early game. Because when I was working on that fork that I ended up deciding not to do, partially because the code base is just it's put together with sticks and glue. If I was ever going to make a fork of DCSS in the future, I would remake the entire code base, because this is just... A lot of you guys, I imagine, are not computer scientists, but if you were, and you took a look at this code, you would see what I'm talking about. There is insane, it's insane the way some of this stuff works. Like you want to add something to the game and you gotta visit like 30 different files to do it, you know? You gotta add some of the same data in multiple places, or similar data in multiple places. It doesn't make any goddamn sense. It's really wild, actually. Remaking DCSS and, you know, better, from the ground up, better code would be kind of an interesting project, I think. And unlike making a different game, you would at least, pretty much, you would know what you're doing. You don't have to plan out the game, you know exactly what you're wanting to build. So that could be interesting. I'm not going to do that, but that could be interesting. Hey, let's take a minute and buy this Wand of Acid, because Acid is really good by itself, but what makes it way better is, you guessed it, Vile Clutch. Because now I'm guaranteed to hit, which means that I'm going to probably do really good damage, and I'm probably going to nerf the enemy's armor. Levadoc says, sometimes when I work I look at the code and I want to facepalm yourself. Yeah, well, I mean, that happens to me too, and you know, I can't even make too much fun because, like, every computer scientist has written bad code at some point. You know, but the difference is that if you're a good one, if you're a good computer scientist, unless you're just having a bad day, you're going to write your bad code for things that other people are not going to see. You know, like stuff where you're just like, I can be lazy because no one else is going to have to put up with this crap, you know? I mean, hell, I've used go-tos before, but it's only in stuff that I was doing, you know, just to screw around, or like something that only I would see. I knew that I was building a horrible mess, but it didn't matter. Check it out, I'm surrounded by stuff, so I'm going to irradiate and do it again. But I mean, in a collaborative project, oh my god. But I think that Extended, Wesley, I think your comment really shines when you get to Extended, and it may be coloring both of our opinions on this a bit, because Extended really does feel like it's just sort of tacked on, you know, like stapled to the game in these sort of loose, nobody gave a shit kind of ways. Anyway, we're just tabbing through depths here. This is a tutorial, so I should probably explain a little more. But when you end up with a character like this, you don't have to stop too much, you know? You can basically just tab through the game to some degree. You start to realize just how much quote-unquote popcorn is in the game when you play a character that is capable of dealing with most situations without slowing down. Alright, we have some choices. We got 4 runes, so we could just go finish the game right now if I was so inclined. But I wanted to do 15 runes to show that off. I'm keeping an eye out for a few threats, worth mentioning which things you're looking for. Right, I'm generally looking for things that can do a lot of damage to me, regardless of my cool, rad, energy resistances, right, or my defenses. So liches, ancient liches, you know, when I see those, I want to slow down. I want to make sure I'm not taking too many moves at once. I want to ideally not be in stat form because it slows me down, and because that means I could take a couple hundred damage if I move. Although, if I'm next to a lich and it LCSs me, it won't be able to do it again as long as I'm attacking in melee because of my high unarmed combat. It kind of negates the speed penalty. Like if I, check it out, my unarmed combat, I'm out of form right now. If I were to attack, I'm attacking super fast at 0.5. I go stat form, I do the same thing. I attack actually less than speed 1, so that's great. So the penalty is really not that bad for melee, but for everything else, you know, you're very slow. So that's the biggest thing. I'm watching out for certain stuff like floating eyes, I guess, which can spawn in certain areas of depths, which will just paralyze you, you know. And anytime I'm surrounded by stuff that can do some amount of damage to me, like for example, even being surrounded by very ugly things, yeah, I can tank them really well, but if they're there for long enough, it could be a problem. And so if I'm really surrounded by a bunch of bullshit, I just start irradiating and clear it out, you know? That's basically the play. Anyway, so we can go to Zot, we could go into Extended. We have 9 potions of mutations, so if the orbs of fire really screw us up, we can fix that. think I'd like to go ahead and pick up my Necronomicon. Cool. I would like to memorize... Ooh, lacking spell levels. Do I have Amnesia? Hell yeah, 4 scrolls of Amnesia. Get rid of Fulminate Prism. We don't need that anymore. Get rid of Searing Ray. We don't need that anymore. Get rid of... Well, Passage of Galubria remains awesome and extended. You haven't seen me use it much, but I assure you it's good in certain situations. But we can't use it in Zot because of the Orb effect. Instant Startelli from Orb? What? What are you talking about? Oh, you mean I'm gonna get mutated with Startelli? Yeah, it could happen, but I have 9 mutation potions, so I can turn that off, probably. Okay, I'd like all of these spells, actually. Summon Forest I would really... Well, I can get rid of Petrify, now that I have BVC. Petrify is indeed... Yeah, right, Petrify seems redundant at this point. Correct. Is Malign Gateway available? It's like a better Summon Forest. Sadly, no. Okay. So, 26% chance to cast Necromutation, 50% chance to cast Infestation. I bet you my Death's Door is pretty good. My Charms is insanely high, so we might end up casting that. Is there anything else I can Amnesia? Not really. Of course, if I do cast Necromutation, I am going to need some way to do damage. Ideally Iron Shot, but the thing is Irradiate does incredible damage, so we could just Necromute and then Irradiate. That'd be okay. Let's pick it up. Put that on capital N, I guess. Alright, we know Necromutation. Really, really high unarmed combat. Let's take Necromancy to 20, Transmutations to 20. And we're still training shields. And honestly, I'm going to take unarmed combat to 27 because it's just incredible to have it at the max level. Let's go into Zot. Whew. Alrighty, needed 3 runes to enter this place. Now, ordinarily, I would probably try to do this thing backwards. I would dive to Zot 4-ish, and then I would go up so that I avoid shafts. I have the luxury of not doing that today, on account of the fact that I'm worshipping Ashenzari, and as a result, I cannot really be shafted. So we're just going to auto-explore until we see things that scare us. Moth of Wrath is scary if he has allies around, because he can zerk you or them. Otherwise, no big deal. We can pretty much tab through all these Draconians, bearing in mind that the Annihilators can do good damage to me with LCS, and the Shifters can move me around. But in general, outside of getting dispelled by the by the purple Draconian's breath, which would turn off my statue form the next turn, are shafts more common in Zot? Yes. Yes, they are. The deeper you go in the dungeon, the more shafts show up. Alright, we got really unlucky. We have an orb of fire here. So I'm going to put up a spire so he can't mutate me. And his fireballs will hit the spire. So he really only his bolt of fire can hit me. We're going to go dragon form now. So now we have RF++ on top of our existing RF+. So full RF, really great. He's not going to do much damage to me, and I'm going to kill him faster. Sadly, I cannot Vile Clutch him. By the way, this is a little bit of a... it's a little unfortunate that he's on Zot 1. That doesn't usually happen. If I wanted to, I could go Necromute, and that would avoid the chance of getting mutated entirely. Instead, I would Rot. But I don't really trust the amount of damage I'd be taking, because I would only have RF+. So instead, we're going to summon a Forest. I'm going to take a step. He actually mutated me as I took a step. What a shame, because he did it. How did he do that? He was here, I was here. That's weird. I didn't think he'd be able to do that. I'll take a step like this. We're just going to attack him. You feel frail. Our unarmed combat is high enough that I actually trust my UC more than I trust my irradiate against them, unless they were almost dead already. Alrighty, so we are frail, and we occasionally shout at our foes. Those are... well, the frail is a really obnoxious mutation, lowering my hit points, but it's not bad enough for me to really care enough to use my mutation potions. Remember that mutation potions are a very nasty, nastily rare sort of resource, so... just gonna clear these floors. Whoa! What happened there? Oh, my D-missile dropped. Put that back up. Irradiate a little bit. Irradiate a little bit. Kill this stuff really quick. Get up in the center of this stuff. Irradiate again. Irradiate again. D-missile went back off. We'll put it back up. D-missile is helping me a lot because remember how I said that the purple draconian breath can dispel me? Well, that's probably not going to happen because D-missile has my back, you know? Can't block it with my shield, but that's okay because D-missile has my back. Just gotta keep it up, you know? That was me getting blinked right there by the shifter. No amount of magic resistance will stop that from happening. Spray Dragon form. I didn't care in this particular case that he would berserk the Storm Dragon, and the reason is that we are just so defensive. 39 AC, 28 EV, 34 SH in stat form. I fear no melee attack, basically. If it's just me versus one or two guys, I feel basically unkillable. Now, if I get surrounded, then that's another story, because, as I mentioned, I believe in the last session, the more attacks you take per turn, the less effective your SH is. By the way, every time I use Irradiate, it is applying Misshapen and Mutated, which kills their AC. It's pretty cool. We need to kill these Annihilators. They're the ones with the little light blue shields they can do a lot of. Well, they look like shields, they're not shields. Why don't I just PVC him? He can do like 100 damage to me if he gets real lucky. You didn't miss any excitement. I was just explaining stuff. This has been a pretty straightforward... We had an Orb of Fire show up on Zot 1. That was the most exciting thing that happened. Certainly this could get exciting real quick if a bunch of clowns show up and I get deeply unlucky. But otherwise we just kind of tab through most of the things. This guy can slow me, but I just don't care. Ordinarily I would care a lot, and with the corn cobs I would probably paralyze them or enslave them. I do something, some kind of MR thing to them. Speaking of evocations, I'd like to have more. Let's put that to 15. I could probably be training a little more efficiently, like one at a time, but it's fine. Zot 3. It's basically going to be the same every single one of these floors. It's a +6 ring of dex I just found a minute ago. Ooh, nice little pack of Draconians. And really, I'm just tabbing and casting Irradiate whenever I'm particularly surrounded, you know. This is a cool little area to fight one at a time. Getting a bit of lag on the server right now. Hope that stops soon. If it keeps up, I may have to call the stream for a bit and maybe try again later. I was hoping to actually finish this game, but because I still have all of Extended to do, it might be best to split it up into another video. Whoops, I didn't mean to go Dragon Form. I meant to cast Irradiate. Oh well. I will at least finish Zot in any event. Those electric golems, the thing I just killed, if you have D-missile and a good amount of evasion and R-elect, they won't do a lot to you. If you are lacking any of those things, even if you have R-elect, they can still do a lot of damage to you. They just attack really fast. They do a ton of lightning bolts really quickly. So it's something to keep in mind. They're also immune to magic, so you can't hex them, for instance. And they blink around a lot. Anti-magic is a good tool versus them, but I just kind of beat them to death. Iron Shot works pretty well against them, even though they have a good amount of evasion. Direct damage spells that are not energy-based are pretty good versus electric golems. That's what I would call one of the bigger threats in Zot. We've mainly seen crappy, like, popcorn sort of threats. Just draconians, you know. But soon, we're gonna get to the bottom floor. Ah, yes, this vault. I don't need to dig these guys out. Are you serious? Oh, because Vile Clutch is technically not smite targeted, it will not go through the grates anymore. Oh, there's the nerf, guys. Oh, no. How do we deal with that without spending my precious dig charges? Well, I guess I have 19 dig now, so dump vault. Let me dig these fellas out. The thing is, they'll cast stuff on you from inside. Whoops. Where did the guy go? Okay, we'll dig him out. We will dig these fellas out. Imagine putting a vault in the game that forces me to use dig charges. Because, I mean, look, all 3 staircases going down are located here, so you pretty much have to deal with this problem. Or have some smite-targeted thing that kills them even though they're inside the grates. This vault made sense before they reduced the dig. Before they reduced the number of dig charges in the game. Now it's just like a sad sign that nobody really gives a shit when they add something to this game. They never really care about how it impacts the rest of the game, you know? Like if you had asked me or any other player who plays a lot of DCSS, they would have told you this type of thing would be a problem if you take dig charges and lower them a lot. It looks like I'm complaining about nothing because I have a ton of dig charges this game. But you don't usually get so many. We found a lot of dig this game. Like, we've gotten very lucky, in fact. Alrighty, so this is what some might call the hardest part of the game. Let's go into Zot 5. Now, the scariest thing about this would be going down and getting teleported immediately, but that cannot happen to me because of Ashenzari. However, this fella here has a dire flail of distortion, which could very easily teleport me, so we're going to paralyze him immediately. Go statue form and beat his ass. Because you know I don't want to get teleported into one of those lungs that have high-level enemies in them, yeah? We've done this with pretty much 0 charges, yep. And at that point, you pretty much have to have airstrike, I guess, or be a Beog worshiper with smite, or some other shenanigans like that. Worship Mokleb, get a Cacodemon to dig it out for you. That kind of silliness. Drag a deep elf. Here's the comical thing. The optimal thing to do there is to drag a deep earth elementalist. Just walk with one from depths into Zot. Quicksilver bolts worth mentioning. I mentioned that already. The purple draconians breathe Quicksilver, which dispels you. Although it is worth mentioning that Quicksilver dragons have this exact same breath. It doesn't just chisel away at stat form duration, it straight up ends it. It just takes one more turn after you've been hit. It takes off all your buffs too in the same way. So it could be very dangerous for a transmuter for sure. Okay, so this part of the level is going to look different every time, but this part of the level is going to look the same every time. It might be positioned on top instead of on bottom, but it's the same. It's going to have different enemies in it, though. It's going to have different traps, different trap layouts. These Orb Guardians are just big boys. 82 hit points, 45 damage. They're fast with good defenses, so pretty easy to kill, to be honest, if you're any kind of melee guy. And if you're not, you should have spells that kill them pretty easily. Just beware of them getting berserked by a Moth of Wrath, you know. I'll try to stay out of stat form for these fights. Alright, sometimes there will be traps here and here, which will really ruin your day. I don't want to get marked just yet, so we'll walk away from that. Whoa, there's a dispersal trap. That's really dangerous. Oh, that's a Zot trap. We got int damage from that. Ancient Lich, he has the haste. That means he could very well be the Ancient Lich of LCS plus haste, which is terrifying. So, we'll go Dragon Form. Can I cast LRP? I assume you mean LRD on Iron Grit. No, it will not. It will not blow up the grate. However, I do think it will damage the other side of the grate, so that is one way to kill them. Okay, we're going to BVC this guy. BVC this guy. I'm a little spooked, but we're going to attack anyway. We'll attack. We're going to put up a Spire, and the idea is I just want to chill out here and get these guys to reveal what books they have. Okay, so this one cast Haunt. We know he's not the one that I'm afraid of. The other one has not revealed himself yet. I cannot be berserked, by the way, by the Moth unless he's right next to me attacking me, so that's okay. This is interesting. Well, even if he has LCS, he cannot hit me with it. So let's go stat form. Yeah, he can't LCS me through his boys. That's a Berserked Orb Guardian. Probably not a huge risk for this character, but I should still be careful. Why don't we put up a Cloud to start getting damage on this stuff every turn. And then we will BVC this whole line of things. Attack. Alright, this guy's revealed his book. It's Orb of Destruction book. That's okay. I'm not really that afraid of that. I do have my shield. And it's not going to be that much damage if it doesn't travel very far. With that said, I do want him to die, so we're going to Acid Wand him. Okay, now we're going to Ice Blast to finish him off. Check out how this Orb Guardians, even though he's a big boy that's berserked, he's still taking damage pretty quickly from the flame. Nothing stops him from taking damage from fire. He's not resistant. And we just melee him down. Most characters would be taking tons of damage from that, but statue form makes me real strong. Alright, this guy revealed himself to be the same sort of Haunt Lich that I'm not afraid of. We'll just BVC him, let him take a little damage, and then kill him ourselves. Keep putting up the Spire because that just gives me some time, basically. Blocks anything that might be coming in. Alright, so I'm standing here for a reason, even though this thing is sort of obnoxiously jumping around. I don't want to be in line of sight of this Zot trap. So this is a pretty good spot for me to just fight. I'm going to go Dragon Form. Same reason we went Dragon Form before versus the Orb of Fire. I'm going to... Because I can't BVC either of these things, they are immune. I'm just going to chill out. Nice, killed him in 2 hits. Look how strong Dragon Form is. Suffered no mutations from that. Very good. Orb of Fire, immune to player. Yeah. Okay. So, we weren't blocked by traps, so we'll just kind of carefully, slowly explore these lungs. Hopefully not getting hit by an alarm trap. Make a dragon, or turn into a dragon rather. Put up a Spire. The idea is I want him to approach me, right? Oh, I don't want to be able to see that alarm trap. So we'll put a Spire here. Wait a minute, let's make Forest. I wanted him to approach me, but really I'm just wasting time. Sucks. Think about this. Let's use the horn. We made a bunch of noise already. This will give us a couple of hell beasts. They hit for 28 plus 20 damage to 2 separate attacks. Believe it or not, I've seen them kill an orb of fire. Although they will die very quickly to his fire attacks. Let's wait a turn. Okay, big problem. This is what I'm really afraid of in here. This is a killer clown. If he throws a clown pie, he can turn me into a bat, and I'll basically just die instantly. It's a big bunch of bullshit. Yeah, I was trying to conserve acid charges, Roga, but that's now that this fella's here, I am in fact going to BVC him and then use some acid. Unfortunately, my Hellbeast got in the way, but I don't care. I'm more interested in killing this clown at this point than anything else. Alright, this is getting ugly. We're going to haste, so we're going to be taking more actions now. So we know we're going to be getting damage on the clown every turn on top of the BVC. Let's go ahead and use clouds. It's Poison Cloud, which is terrible, but you know, I'll take it. Acid. Stop clowning around. The reason I'm so scared is that pie can do so many ugly ass things to me. Hello, Slippery Cat. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for the follow. But he can't really pie me with all these enemies in the way. So I'm taking this time to just acid him to death. Okay, he's gonna die to the poison. We're gonna swing on the orb now, but unfortunately he does have the ability to blink, and he did. So now I have to burn another turn, basically. I'm gonna Ice Blast him. There we go. This is officially really ugly, because this Executioner could really ruin my day. I have to go stat form, unfortunately. Now that makes my fire resistance much worse, but it means I won't take as much damage if this Brimstone Fiend decides to torment me, and it means I'm not going to just die to this Executioner super fast. I think we just swing on the Orb of Fire. Still hit pretty hard in this form. He's dead. Alright, now we've got this Ancient Lich. I am still hasted, so I'm acting faster than I otherwise would. We're just going to acid this guy. He didn't approach me, unfortunately. God damn. I think I have to take a step. He could Iron Shot me for a lot of damage. D-Missile's still up. I feel okay about this. We'll just swing. And swing. And swing, and he's dead, and all of his allies go away. That was a bit risky. Having regen would have been really nice in that situation, but the spell does not exist anymore. Now we're going to chill out and enjoy the fact that we didn't die. Yeah, Wesley, I remember that. There were like three orbs of fire around you, I think. Slippery Cat says, only won one game at DCSS. Can't imagine myself playing anything other than luck. Show me the secrets. I will show you the secrets, although it's going to be less... you'll get less out of it, I think, right now, because I'm in the end game. You may want to go back and watch old videos, or like on YouTube, or... because I do have a YouTube channel where I store everything, or just VODs from this run to see the early game, because that's where the RNG really comes into effect, and you got to kind of fight against it. Although, certainly, there's a lot of ways to mess up in Zot. For example... I just auto-explored, and I forgot to place an exclusion here. So I auto-explored over here, and even though I knew there was a mark trap, it didn't matter. I just walked right up to it. This dude stepped on it, and now I'm marked. So it's a very serious problem. We don't want to chill out here. We want to... I mean, honestly, being marked is not a huge deal in Zot if you can make it to a staircase. In some ways, it's a good thing. So I go up. I'll even take one of these guys with me. Hello, Ben AFPS. Welcome to the stream, my friend. Hope you keep making more informative DCSS videos. I will do my best. I've tried to, as much as possible, explain all the threats and whatnot facing this Octopode. I think that it was a little less perhaps informative than the Mibby, but of course this is going to be an advanced character, so it's going to assume you know the basics. Anyway, we can just melee this dude with our big shield. He shouldn't do much to us. Alright, so we were marked. We're not marked anymore, but everything on the level basically knows where we were. Okay, so you're going to have not just the stuff that we saw, but also way more stuff coming. Almost all of this. So, yeah, no problem, Slippery Cat. Also, I wrote a book. You should buy it. Has nothing to do with DCSS. Just a fiction novel, but I am trying to make a little bit of money off of it. Anyway, so the back of this is going to have a bunch of enemies, right? And you saw how we had a bit of a problem, you know? You saw we had a bit of a problem over here with all the stuff that was here, and even like a single Lich, Orb of Fire, and Clown created a situation that could have turned dangerous fast, right? So, what's cool about this Mark Trap is it draws all that crap out. And so now I can abuse these staircases a little easier. Because generally things in Zot are not speed 10. They're generally pretty fast, right? So just walking all the way from a lung to the staircase, not usually going to work out so hot for you. There are reasons why it won't work. So, if you can pull them up here in the first place somehow, like by getting marked, sometimes it's a good idea. So I'm going to go down a different staircase. And they're not here because they are looking for me at the staircase where I was. And we're going to be able to sort of pick off, you know, pick off an enemy here and there. And if I see anything that I don't want to fight, it's no big deal because I can just go up these stairs. The tentacled monstrosity could constrict me, I guess, and stop me from going up, but, you know, it's, holy shit, there is a lot of lag happening. I don't know if that's on my end, or if that is, DCSS. This is crazy. It's no longer taking my commands. Or it is, but it's just incredibly slow. I see I have 6 spectators here. I may have to cut this short. Oh, no, it's working again. I wonder if that was my internet or if that was DCSS. Alright, let's put a spire here. Let's go Dragon Form. We want that extra RF++ from Dragon Form. We want to be able to act faster. We want to be able to do more damage. Something cool I can do here, check this out. This is a great reason to save a couple charges of dig because depending on the layout, stream has been buffering for me. Alright, my internet is just pooping itself. Sorry, guys. Depending on the layout, you can make a nice little kill hole, you know. Dig here. And then I can shout. And this is going to work less well now in Trunk because of the lack of regen. So like if I run into a big problem here where I need more hit points, could be bad. But, you know, overall, it's better to be fighting one thing at a time. Sadly, we're going to miss a little bit. You miss the Orb of Fire, your Tail Slap misses. This is all one turn. You claw the Orb of Fire, but do no damage. Your Bite misses the Orb of Fire. Why don't we do the thing that's guaranteed to do some damage? So we'll just start irradiating. Boom, boom. Okay, the Contaminate is light green, or sorry, light gray now, so we don't want to do it anymore. He's almost dead, see? Now we'll swing on him, and we have a very unfortunate collection of mutations now, but it is what it is. Other than going Necromute, there's nothing I can do about that. Okay. I do, in fact, make more noise as a dragon when I shout. Here's the Clown. I'm gonna stat form to fight him so that I can have my shield to block his clown pies. I hate clowns so much. I still would have had D-Missile against him if I had stayed in Dragon Form, and it would have probably killed him faster. But the consequence of being pied is so bad that I'd rather have much more of a chance to block it, you know? Stat form against these guys. I don't see anything here that I'm really afraid of. I guess I could get Hellfired a lot. This is a little dangerous. I went out of stat form and now I'm out of mana and I'm marked. Oh shit, I should pay more attention. This is a big problem, actually. One of the biggest things in DCSS is being able to recognize when things are going really badly. We are going to burn a haste because while we're nearly at full hit points, we're out of form, have almost no mana, because I was being reckless, and we got marked again. I guess there was I played too fast, and I didn't notice that somebody had walked into a mark trap. So first thing we're going to do is haste. Alright. Yeah, we're just going to walk away. I probably didn't need to haste. I probably could have just walked away, but at this point in the game, what am I saving my resources for? I mean, I guess there's still extended, which we are going to do, but I mean, I have not used haste basically the entire game up to Zot. Cancellation plus magic. So here's why you don't do that. You would think that cancellation is the right move for Mark, but the problem is that just because you canceled doesn't mean that they forget where you are. They're still beelining towards you. It just means if you were to, let's say, teleport, they wouldn't know your new location. So to actually make use of a cancel with Mark, you would need to cancel first, then tele, then end up somewhere else. And then, like, as far as magic is concerned, that was something I considered, but I really didn't want to stay in that fight, you know. I just wanted to get away. I think haste was a little superfluous there. Hello, Ancient Lich. Let's just melee him and see what happens. Okay. This little kill hole's where I really want to be. Alexander says, just died to being surrounded by Berserk. Thanks, Moth. Wolf spiders. Berserk wolf spiders. Ambushed entering spider too. Yeah, that's one of those big threats you just kind of have to be aware of and treat like something that's worth spending resources on early. If I see a Moth of Wrath in spider, I know that's something I need to kill quickly, especially if it has allies around. They are susceptible to MR targeting things, so if you could Wand of Paralysis them, it's usually going to work. Especially if you have some evocations training. You can also kill them pretty quickly with like a Wand of Disintegrate, or anything that avoids dealing with their evasion is nice. Alright, so the very center, this little, what's called the Orb Chamber, will always have a bunch of Orb Guardians in it. Oh hey, and we got netted by the trap. I'm gonna get myself a free net. I'm gonna blink. Okay, I'm being surrounded by big boys, so we'll just irradiate a few times and they all die. Get that net. Okay. It has to match. The inscription has to match, or it won't stack up. That's a dispersal trap. I guess I'll just walk into it a few times. That's annoying that that's there, but not really that annoying. Okay, blink, getting free nets. If I tried to walk out, I would break them. Oh, hello. We'll go dragon form and we'll just beat this guy up. He's almost dead. I'm going to irradiate virtually guaranteed damage. There he goes. Now, you'll notice that if I look at my combat log, right before I killed him, I see your vision blurs. That is one of the top 3 worst possible mutations. So suddenly, you know, we've had a lot of bad mutations, and the Frail is certainly one of the worst, but the minus scrolls, or the blurry vision, whatever you want to call it, hands down is worth burning potions of mutation to get rid of. So let's do that. Because the thing is that, like, you want to be able to use your blink scrolls. By the way, we've been horribly unlucky with blink scrolls. We've probably only used, like, 3 the entire game. So that means for the entire game... And we have all the loot piles, man. From slime, from vaults, from elf. That means we only found like 4 blink scrolls, which is fairly low in my experience. Alright, we did not get rid of minus scrolls, so we'll try again. Revision sharpens, you feel robust. Alright, that's good. I'm fine with the bad ones, and I'm actually pretty happy about the plus int. I'm happy about the strength. This is annoying, but fine. But mostly I just don't have minus scrolls. Scrollitis, yeah. That's what it's called. So, yeah, this is good. Necromutation at 8% fail rate. That's not that bad. I think we'll take Necromancy to 21, though, and Transmutations to 21 to get that a little less faily. Almost 27 unarmed combat, that's sick. Ligma. Yeah, lignification is good, but because we have necromutation, I think I'm rather going to have that. Anyway, that's the game. I mean, we could grab latency to broadcast to 32 seconds. Yeah, I'm going to have to investigate what's going on with my internet. Sorry. It's totally my end. But yeah, it's okay. What's left is extended. Like, we could win. We could grab the orb. We could take it, and we could go take it to the top of the top of the game and win. But I'm trying to show off how to do extended these days, something I typically haven't done in my world record streak to this point, outside of the Mibby that I played last time. And this is going to be a very different kind of character to do extended on, because we're not going the Shining one. We're just using the power of magic, basically. And we're going to stick with Ashenzari just to kind of show that you don't need to have an absolute top tier god in extended to do good things with it. So I guess I will definitely keep that for next time. I was going to just go ahead and do it, but my internet has decided to take a big ol' stinky poop, so hopefully that'll be better next time. I may even start streaming, in a couple hours and just restart this, although there is something else I wanted to stream. Maybe we can finish this game. In any event, I'm happy to see new faces in the stream. I do appreciate you guys coming by. I mean, it's always good to meet new people, Feel free to, if you haven't yet, feel free to drop me a follow. I'm always making new content, especially DCSS stuff. And this is going to have a written tutorial associated with it on dungeoncrawlstonesoup.com as soon as the game is won and I get a little time to write it. So hopefully it's helpful. People are always asking me how to play a caster, and this is the most straightforward way. Anyway, that's going to be it. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Until next time, I am signing out. Did you know that there are many ways that you can help support this channel? Read about them on rosecrypto.com/support. At Rose Crypto, you can learn all about cool things like the Brave web browser, Bitcoin, and other cryptocurrencies. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.